Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the new survival horror film Dangerous Animals, which stars Hassie Harrison, Josh Houston, and Jai Courtney. This film is directed by Sean Byrne, and Dangerous Animals is about a shark obsessed serial killer who holds a rebellious surfer named Zephyr captured on his boat. Racing against time, she must figure out a way to escape before he carries out a ritual feeding to the sharks below. Uh, I was super tuned into this because of Jai Courtney, because remember a couple of years ago when Hollywood was just trying to shove Jai Courtney down our throat. He was in everything. They really wanted him to be something, and nothing wrong with that. It's not just him. They did it with a few actors around this time. Taylor Kitsch pops into mind as an example. They were just putting them in Sam Worthington as well. They were just putting them in everything, and it just didn't work in a lot of those films. It wasn't the fact that they're bad actors, it just didn't work sticking actors like Jai Courtney in these big franchises and hoping that audiences would just gravitate to him. Jai Courtney, he popped up, he was in Terminator Genesis. I think that's the one he was in. He was in that awful Die Hard movie, the last Die Hard movie, where he played John McClane's son in Russia. That was horrible. They were just trying to make him a thing. And honestly, I never had an issue with Jai Courtney. It was just the fact that why is he in these in these movies? He don't fit. He just didn't fit. He fit in Suicide Squad. I liked him in Suicide Squad because he wasn't the main guy. He was a supporting or part of an ensemble. And so I was hoping that we got a smaller film that can really showcase Jai Courtney being Jai Courtney. And man, I never thought it would have been a horror film. A movie like this where he plays a serial killer, and boy, now he has arrived in my eyes as far as the guy, a star, if you will. This film really surprised me on how well made it was, how good it was. It was better than what it deserved to be. Just to say it's a shark movie wouldn't do it justice. Just to say it's a serial killer film wouldn't do it justice. It's a real good blending of the two. The fact that this film took its time to develop their characters, especially our lead actress here, Hassie Harrison, who you may know from Yellowstone. That's where I saw her, or familiar with her from. They did a good job of developing her character of Zephyr, this rebellious surfer loner, and we got enough of her backstory. We got enough of her motivations before she encounters this psycho shark enthusiast here, and it allowed you to get behind this character. And Hesse does a phenomenal job at portraying her in this film. Jai Courtney, once again, he is not the quote unquote star of the movie, but he's the star of the movie. He is the guy. He anchors this film, no pun intended, being as though it's 70% on a boat. But he is phenomenal as this serial killer. I mean, my God, it's chilling, funny, sadistic, and smart. Watching these horror films, and this has been going on since horror films has been around, that the serial killer or the stalker or the slasher or whatever, the monster in the closet, is always some elements of stupidity with them, that the protagonist can take advantage of and escape and get away and defeat him or whatever the case may be. This guy comes off as just this kind of a dim-witted guy, but he is super intelligent. You know, the way he captures his victims and I guess you could say mentally torture them as well. He is so chilling here, man. This is a phenomenal serial killer movie. You know, if you're into that. If you're not into that, I mean, don't bother. This movie is very gory when it gets to the gory sequences involving the sharks and interactions with our antagonist, our villain in this story. But you know, it's not a lot. It's not an overabundance of gore and horror and stuff of that nature. This is more on a psychological level as far as this film is concerned. But when it does get gory, it does not hold back on the gore. I mean, these sharks are sharks. You know, these aren't super sharks. This isn't Jaws. This isn't Deep Blue Sea or nothing like that. They're just sharks. You know, they do what they do. and this movie really made you reappreciate how vicious a shark is, how cunning a shark is, how frightening it is to be in open water with these just killing machines that they are. My flaws with the movie, it's nitpicky, but there are some issues I have with the movie. It's not a long movie, but it felt like it drug at times. You know, it felt like, you know, when we're going to get to the meat, once again, no pun intended, of this issue here, you know, and it kind of drug for a scene or two. I think they could have trimmed off, you know, to really kind of get this movie flowing. And it's towards the middle, you know, actually it's like the end of the second act going into the third act. It kind of drags a little bit, and it just killed the momentum that he was kind of building in that second act. At least for me, that was my personal preference. It just kind of drugged there. Also, the character of Moses, played by Josh Houston, I don't know why he was in. I just did not connect with that character. And that is nothing against Josh Houston. It was the fact that the way that character was written, it was like he was a superhero. You know, it was like he was a master detective, I should say. He was Batman. You know, the way he got all the information he needed to find the love interest of Zephyr and hunt down this serial killer and whatnot. Is like, I don't really buy that from this guy. You know, this guy he's not that dude, you know, and nobody else picked up on these things. And it was simple things that he picked up on to get to his girlfriend. And it's like the police don't know these things, okay? You know what I'm saying? It was kind of strange, and I just didn't like it for his character. You know, I would have respected it more had they established that he is an attentive guy. He's kind of a independent sleuth, if he is. You know, I don't know, but they didn't really establish that. He's just a random guy, and okay, I picked up on two things that led me to where I needed to be. It was silly. I didn't like that element of it all, but the good outweighed the bad in this film. I enjoyed the performances of Hesse Harrison and Jai Courtney. I enjoyed the cinematography. The cinematography was beautiful, and the sharks, the incorporation of these sharks in the film was done great. You know, it wasn't an overabundance of sharks, because it's really not a shark movie. It's not about the sharks. The sharks are just his weapon of choice. It's really a serial killer movie. It's like watching Seven and the knife. You know, it's about the weapon he uses, or not about the weapon he uses, but that's the weapon he uses. So, all things considered, I think this was a really good horror film. I mean, we are rolling in 2025 with these horror movies so far. I have enjoyed these horror movies, and Dangerous Animals just popped up on the good list for me. It gets a letter grade of a B plus. Yeah, I mean, I was really, really happy with this movie. It is a good watch. If not for anything else, Jai Courtney's performance. Jai Courtney should catapult back into mainstream after this. I think there's something big waiting for him if he wants to go that route. You know, he showed that he is that guy. You know, he didn't get the opportunities a few years ago with those big budget films, but he showed it now, especially with this. But I would like to know, did you check out Dangerous Animals, and what were your thoughts? Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Dangerous Animals. I want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.